Hello. For this week's message of encouragement, I felt drawn once more to a favourite passage of mine, 2 Kings chapter 6, in which we have an account of a fascinating incident in the life of the prophet Elisha. We're told that during the time when the Arameans were at war with the Israelites, the king of Aram became perplexed and very angry. For whenever he conferred with his officers and decided to attack the king of Israel at a particular place, Elisha would know and would warn the king of Israel to avoid that place. The king of Aram became convinced there was a spy in his camp and demanded to know who it was. But one of his officers had heard about this prophet of Israel and explained to the king of Aram that Elisha was so good at this prophet stuff that he knew even the words that were uttered in the privacy of the king's own bedroom. Now I bet that disturbed him. So that officer was sent to find out where Elisha was staying, so that the Arameans could capture and silence him once and for all. When they discovered he was staying in Dothan, the Arameans took their horses and chariots and a very strong force to take him captive there. They travelled through the night and had the place surrounded by morning. So when Elisha's servant got up at daybreak, probably to get Elisha his early morning cuppa, he looked out and saw that the city was surrounded by this vast army. And he cried out, "Oh my Lord, what shall we do?" Pausing here for just a moment, I just want us to think about those words, for I recognise that that's a prayer I've uttered so many times, and perhaps never as often as right now in this season we're in of sickness and uncertainty and lockdown and challenge. And I wouldn't be surprised if that cry of, "Oh my Lord, what shall I do?" hasn't been echoing across this land and way beyond. As I explained in my previous message, the biblical expression horses and chariots is something of a metaphor for the overwhelming opposition and danger that we can face in our lives. And for Elisha's servant, all he could see was an impossible and frightening situation, and that prompted his cry. But Elisha responded with the words, "Don't be afraid." And then he went on to explain to his servant that those who are with us are more than those who are with them. What an amazing foreshadowing of the words of John the Apostle, who later wrote, "You have overcome because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." In other words, whatever we may face in this world, however overwhelming, daunting, frightening it may appear, if we put our trust in the Lord, we will overcome. Elisha had spoken words of great reassurance to his servant, but perhaps he could tell that the servant could still only focus on the enemy forces, because Elisha then prays his own prayer. "O Lord, open his eyes so he may see." And we're told that when the Lord did this, the servant became aware of an even larger army comprising horses and chariots of fire, completely encompassing them and filling his vision. Of course, this army of the Lord of hosts had probably been there all along, but now the servant could see them, for God had switched on his spiritual eyesight and given him eyes of faith. In this unprecedented season in which we find ourselves, our natural inclination is to focus on the enormity of the problem and the challenges we face. And, assisted by our media, that can loom larger and larger in our vision. Many of us are experiencing heightened levels of anxiety, and our mental and emotional health can deteriorate as a result. But I believe this passage is encouraging us to ask God to open or perhaps to widen our eyes of faith in order to see him powerfully at work in this situation, enabling us to overcome. Michael W. Smith wrote a worship song back in 2001 with these words: "Open the eyes of my heart, Lord, open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy." And these words remind me too of that exhortation in Hebrews 12, 2 and 3. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, so that we will not grow weary and lose heart. So that is my prayer for you and for me today. God bless you all.